Charles Leclerc's performance during the Spanish Grand Prix went far beyond expectations. It was not merely a good race, but rather a true seismic event that shook the backstage of Formula One and forced an internal reassessment within Ferrari. That cautious driver we had seen in recent weekends was replaced by a fierce, determined version who attacked the track with almost intimidating confidence. Leclerc raced like someone on a clear mission. He did not just drive, he dominated. From the first meters to the final moments, what we witnessed was a driver on the rise who seized every opportunity with sharp precision and fearless attitude. And the outcome was not just another podium finish. It was a statement, a landmark, a clear signal not only to Ferrari but to all rivals. And among those rivals, the message was even more direct to Lewis Hamilton. While much of the attention was on Hamilton's adaptation challenges, it was Leclerc who took center stage. He started behind both Mercedes cars, but it did not take long for him to overtake them with authority. Then, he faced Max Verstappen in a head-to-head battle at very high speed and came out on top. This sequence not only placed him among the top three, but also dismantled any narrative that the leadership within Ferrari already had a new owner. Leclerc's approach was anything but restrained. His decisions reflected a driver who no longer accepts a supporting role. He was there to claim his space, to command respect, and to take control of a team now split between two giants. And in this new scenario, no one inside the Italian team can ignore that anymore. With every precise maneuver, every millimetric defense, Leclerc conveyed more than skill. It was a warning. It was as if he were silently declaring that the spotlight still belonged to him. What we saw in Barcelona was more than an excellent race. It was a shift in narrative, and in this video, we are going to analyze every detail of this surprising performance, the immediate impact within the team, and what it means for the future of the partnership with Lewis Hamilton. But first, remember to support our work by clicking the like button, subscribing to the channel, and activating the notification bell. Because what happened in this Spanish round may have completely reshaped Ferrari's internal hierarchy. Leclerc's performance was more than just an expressive result. It was a direct message, delivered not through interviews or press releases, but through his execution on the track. In Barcelona, he did not just compete. He made his presence felt. He shattered expectations, ignored the famous names around him, and rewrote how the team perceives his role. And the most curious thing was that those most surprised by this seemed to be the team itself and the newly arrived British driver. Let us be honest. In recent months, the entire narrative revolved around Lewis Hamilton. There were high expectations about his arrival, how his experience, technical feedback, and media influence would raise the bar at Ferrari. And although he has already made some impact, perhaps not in the way people expected. Because instead of Hamilton leading the team's resurgence, it is Leclerc who is dragging Ferrari back into the spotlight with bold performances. What we saw in Barcelona was a lesson in how to execute a race with coldness and calculation. There was no luck involved, nor external chaos to ease his path. Leclerc built every position he gained through talent and strategy. Even starting from a less-than-ideal spot, he managed the moments, preserved tires, stayed focused, and when it was time to act, he did so with precision. The overtakes on the Mercedes cars were carried out so naturally they seemed effortless. And when he reported on the radio that Hamilton's pace was holding him back, he made his point. There was no debate, only action, showing that he was the one in control at that moment. The decisive turning point came after the safety car. Max Verstappen, who rarely leaves room, was vulnerable on hard compounds. As he made a slight error in the final corner, Leclerc saw the opening and attacked. Despite the risk, despite the high-speed contact, he persisted. That overtake was not just for position. It was a symbol, a clear demonstration that he would not accept being treated as a secondary player. It was his way of saying he remains a central figure in the game. That kind of behavior demands more than natural talent. It requires boldness, vision, and full confidence in one's choices. And doing that while wearing Ferrari red, under constant scrutiny from the Italian press, only adds more pressure. There, judgments go beyond lap times. They scrutinize posture, presence, and how the driver represents the team. And recently, Leclerc has been under observation not only because of Hamilton's arrival, but because of what the British driver represents: a consolidated champion with prestige and history. However, when Leclerc pulled off that overtake in Barcelona, he showed that leadership does not arrive with past titles. It is earned in the present, through attitude. Comparisons are now inevitable. Some Italian journalists already suggest Charles is facing a turning point similar to what Fernando Alonso or even Michael Schumacher once faced with the team. Alonso, despite his brilliant displays, was eventually defeated by internal disputes and strategic errors. Schumacher, by contrast, reshaped everything around him and built a dynasty. Leclerc seems to stand somewhere between these two figures. He has the speed of one, the passion of the other. But the major question is, does he have the influence? If we take Barcelona as a benchmark, then the answer is yes. Not because he said something bold, but because he did something bold. He acted like someone tired of waiting for recognition and ready to take that role by force. And what about Hamilton? He watched, quiet, outpaced. In a season where he is still trying to adapt to the car, to team dynamics and new challenges, his showing in Barcelona only reinforced how much this transition is far from complete. While he analyzes and adjusts, Leclerc imposes himself. And at Ferrari, where leadership is not assigned but conquered, that difference is significant. The team needs more than just a fast driver. It demands someone who embraces responsibility, withstands pressure, and still delivers decisive results. Leclerc has been groomed for this since he first wore the red suit. With Hamilton's arrival, his time to assert himself has shrunk. The moment is now. The press no longer hides it. This is a defining year for the team and for Leclerc. He is no longer the promise of the future. He stands at the crossroads between assuming leadership or fading out. And races like the one in Spain are what weigh on that balance. They reveal who is truly ready to carry the team forward. What we saw in Barcelona was more than a race won. It was a response. To the doubters, to the comparisons, to those who assumed Hamilton would automatically take the lead role. While the Briton is still adjusting to his new surroundings, Leclerc already commands them with ease. And if Ferrari's leadership is paying attention, they will see that clearly. Not only because of the overtake, but because of the intention, the execution, and the silent message that echoed throughout the paddock. The leadership they are searching for may already be within their walls. This performance was not an isolated event. It could be the starting point of a greater transformation, a redefinition of Ferrari's own internal hierarchy. Because what is at stake is not just scoring. It is the role each driver will play in Ferrari's future. And Leclerc, with his firm driving and undeniable presence, is determined to position himself as the central figure of this new phase. For a long time, the narrative around Leclerc was that of a raw talent, someone to be shaped. But with each race, especially this one, he proves he is ready. He no longer wants to be seen as the future. He wants to be acknowledged as the present. And when it comes to Ferrari, that means more than speed. It means leading with action, with vision, and with courage. On the other hand, Hamilton, despite his victorious legacy, still seems disconnected from the real battle. The team hired him to be the commander, the seasoned strategist who would guide Ferrari to glory. But the one playing that role right now is Leclerc. This is not a criticism of Hamilton. It is a wake-up call. There is no room for two leaders. The team must choose. The comparisons with past idols are intensifying, and many are asking, has the time come for Charles to become what Schumacher once was to Ferrari? The backbone of the team, not just the face. Someone who leads not only with performance, but with authority, presence, and passion. And if we take Barcelona as the latest chapter, the answer may very well be yes. Looking even further back, the parallels with Alonso's years in red are striking. A brilliant driver who always pushed the team to the limit but never managed to put all the pieces together due to internal chaos, missed opportunities, and lack of full support. Ferrari cannot afford to repeat that mistake. Not with a driver like Charles Leclerc, who is already proving race after race that he is ready to lead. So now Ferrari has a decision to make. Will they keep dividing their bets, hoping Hamilton finds his way in time, or will they double down on the driver who just delivered one of the season's most complete performances? Because Barcelona was not just a good race. It was a defining moment. A weekend in which Charles Leclerc did not simply drive the SF25. He took possession of it, and with every turn, every overtake, and every calculated risk, he sent a message. The crown is not up for grabs. It is already on his head. The only question that remains is whether Ferrari will acknowledge it. And if you have made it this far, it is because you love this sport as much as we do. So if you enjoyed this analysis, do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications so you do not miss any updates. Because if Barcelona was just the beginning, what comes next could change everything. Stay tuned. You will not want to miss it.